Welcome all to the session on archiving deleted entities. In this session, we will be looking at what is archiving, who can archive, how archiving works in decisions, what are the types of entities that can be archived, how to change the settings to archive these entities. Apart from that, we will also go ahead and see how to delete those entities. What are the two types of deleting entities, hard delete and soft delete? How does deleting work in decisions? And then we look at how to archive the deleted entities. Where does the deleted and archived entities go? So let's look at what is archiving. Archiving is deleting or moving the old inactive process completed data to a separate database or warehouse. In this session, we will be using a separate database to move the data that needs to be archived. It allows the primary database to focus on managing the essential data for current operations. The other advantages of archived data are it can be used for compliance, auditing, historical analysis, etc. Archiving is an irreversible process. Once the record that needs to be archived is moved to the database, it cannot be retrieved back to the folder where it originally was. Now, who can archive the data? Only the users with administrator permissions can archive the data. Now, how does archiving work in decisions? An entity that is marked as archived is not moved or deleted immediately. Instead, we have to set the archive entity setting from the settings folder, which allows the administrators to configure these settings. Now, there is a specific duration for which entities remain in the system before getting deleted or moved to an external database. The types of entities that can be archived are only process folders and case folders. So now we'll go ahead and see how to archive the entity settings. We go to the path, system, settings, right click on archive entity settings and enable these archive settings as shown in the picture. Upon enabling, we see the editor to edit archive entity setting, which is shown on the right side of the slide. It also gives us a few details like process after how many days, what is the archiving strategy. We have two archiving strategies here. Either we want to delete that particular entity or we want to move that particular entity to a different location or to a database. When this archiving process should be running is displayed in the calendar there. It can be daily schedule, hourly, weekly schedule, etc. If it is a daily schedule, we also get to fill the information on the hours and minutes. We will see all of this action in a minute. So let's now see archiving in action. So for that, we need to switch to the studio view, go to System and Settings. Here we have the archive entity settings, which we want to edit it. So for this, first we enable the settings. We will say how many days we want to process. Let's say we want to process after 1 day or 0 days if we want it to be archived immediately. The archiving strategies are to either delete or move. We will choose to move it now. So upon selecting the archiving strategy as move, we will get to see archiving strategy settings. Upon editing this, we will see some information called server name and database name. What is the authentication that we are using? So now how do we fill this? We are here choosing to archive all these entities to an external database. So we open the SQL Server Management Studio. To set up the external database, so we give our credentials and say connect. To create a new database, we go to the expand the server, expand databases, and here we can just right click on the database and say new database. Give the database name called archiving the data. Also give the name here, archiving the data, and then click on OK. Once this is done, we see here that we have got a new database called Archive the Data. This is the database that we will be using for moving all the archived entities into the external database. So let's go ahead and fill in the server name. Now for the server name, we go to right click on the Explorer, go to Properties and just copy the server name from here. For the database name, we again right click on the database, click on Properties and choose the database name and copy it over here. Now we also uncheck the Windows authentication and give the SQL Server authentication. So the username is SA and I give my credentials. And now I try to test the connection as said here. So click on test connection and we see that the connection is successful. So a connection has now been made from the decisions to the external database where the data can be archived. Click on OK to save the settings. For the calendar, I have different times where I can schedule this particular job. Daily schedule, first day of month schedule, last day of month schedule, and so on as displayed here. I choose a daily schedule, and for the hour, I give the current hour and save this information. Once the information is saved, we go back to our folder where we have our designer projects. Click on the collection of case entities and try to archive a folder. For example, here I have a folder and I right click on that, manage, and say archive working with FEE. This is a flow execution extension folder. So when I click on archive, it asks me for a confirmation message and I click on OK. Now, as you see that this archived entity is not moved immediately to the external database. I come back to the system and under jobs and events, I can see the scheduled jobs here. As we have created an archive job which is scheduled at 6 p.m. today. To run this archive job immediately, I will go ahead and change the settings in which I can change the time to the time that is there right now. I go back to my scheduled jobs and under scheduled job log, I can see that the archive job is pending to run at 5:45 p.m. At 5:45 p.m., we would refresh the scheduled job log to see the changes. Now, as we refresh the dashboard, we see that the archive job is now changed to the next date, 24/5 at 5:45 p.m. as we have chosen a daily schedule. This also indicates that the archive job of today has already run. Now let's go ahead and see the changes in the database. So we go to the SSMS, under archive data, expand the database, expand the tables, and we would see the entity folder table here. Right click on the entity folder table and use script table as select the select to query and run it in a new query editor window. It has generated a select query for us to see the changes. Let's execute this. And we see here that the process folder, which I just archived, by indicating with a number 1, which stands for true, and 0 stands for false. And the archived date is today at 5:41. So let's also see that whether the data has been moved from the parent folder. Let's go back to the folders, click on the collection of employee folders, and we see that the folder with the name WF00003 is being archived and no longer exists in this folder. We also see that though it is archived, it is not necessarily deleted. The value for deleted still remains to be false. So this is how archiving works. Let us now go ahead and see how deleted entities work and what are the types of deleted entities. So deleting of entities is to completely remove the entity from a particular folder. There are two types of delete. One is a hard delete and a soft delete. Hard delete will remove the entity completely from the decisions environment, whereas soft delete will only delete it from the folder or change the value of the column deleted to be true, though it exists in the decisions environment. Soft delete does not remove the entity completely from the environment, but just the value of that column deleted will turn to true. So for the hard delete, we need to change the settings. And for the soft delete, we just need to right click on any entity, click on manage, and click on delete folder. Let us see how a hard deleting works in decisions. We have to navigate to System, Settings, scroll down to find Hard Delete Settings, and right-click on that to edit it. It will open up a editor as shown in the diagram, which will also give us an option to either archive the files or hard delete the files. Not all entities can be hard deleted, only those entities which is recommended by the system can be chosen for hard deleting. The amount of days that this hard delete works can be mentioned here. Once the settings are saved, it also adds to the scheduled job queue where it works according to the schedule that is given. How does the soft deleting work? We can pick any folder, right click on the folder, click on manage and delete the folder. Now to view the soft deleted items, we have to change the report view and select all folder items with deleted. This will now display both the deleted items as well as the items that are not deleted in a report grouped by the deleted column as shown in the picture here. Let us see deleting the entities in action. We shall go back to RStudio and under the System Settings, scroll down to come to Hard Delete Settings, right-click on it and say Edit. We can see that either we can archive the files or we can choose to hard delete them directly by choosing, let's say, day 1. And it also asks for the types for which hard deleting is possible. So we can add what needs to be hard deleted and select from the suggested type names and give the days in which the hard delete should execute. I've also chosen a job schedule log to be deleted after 1 day. You can just save this hard delete settings and go back to the scheduled jobs. Under the thread jobs, if we search the report for hard delete, we can see that it is under the low priority queue, hard delete job. Right click on it and run the job now. Once the job is run, we can see some of the scheduled job logs being removed from this report. That is how hard deleting works. Now let us see how soft deleting works. We can go back to our folder, select any folder that has a collection of process folders, and choose to delete one. So for that, we right click on the folder. navigate to manage and click on delete folder. We can say delete folder. As we can see, the folder from here is deleted. But the question is it actually deleted from the decisions environment? The answer to this is no. So how do we retrieve this particular folder? On the same report, we make sure that it is on the folder view on the top right. Then click on the report, the menu on the report, and click on the option change. Now this will allow us to choose how the report should look like. We can see all folder items with deleted. Pick the report and we will have a list of folder items that are deleted, grouped as either true or false. Since we do not have any collection under false, we do not have that tab appearing over here. So this is how soft delete works. Now how can we see whether these things are deleted? Is by going to the query editor. So click on the Freshers Training Designer project, click on the three dots, go to Other, Query Editor, and here we can just search for the column, the table entity folder. Right click on the entity folder to generate a select query. Under the select query, we would delete some of the columns that are not necessary and make sure that we have a few columns like entity name, archived, deleted, etc. So we would delete some other details like history, administrator, and hidden. And now run the query. We would just give a criteria where deleted is equal to true. Now this will fetch the entities that are deleted. As we can see here, serial number 12 is the record that we have deleted just now. We move forward to see that the deleted column has the value true. All deleted entities in the decisions environment are automatically marked as archived. This is how soft delete works in decisions environment. So as we have just seen, all the soft deleted entities are also archived as the archived state changes to true. Now, where does archived and deleted entities go? Archived entities, as already discussed, can be moved to a separate table by editing the archive entity setting. Deleted entities can be either hard deleted or soft deleted. All the hard deleted entities are permanently deleted at the mentioned schedule, whereas the soft deleted entities just update their columns deleted and archived to the value true. And we can verify that using the entity folder table in the decisions environment. Thank you.